Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
If we just eat plant foods, which are the healthiest foods for the human body, we can leave 80% of the earth alone and the climate will heal.
Food is Climate. Interview with Glen Merzer, vegan, part 1 of 2. Continue watching to find out more.
Vegan, 'cause we eat to live, not live to eat.
It's a joy to greet such noble-hearted friends as you, respected viewers. I am Shara. The delightful people of Anguilla thank you for the compassion you bring to the world and wish you everlasting happiness. Welcome to part 1 of the 2-part series, Food is Climate. Interview with Glen Merzer, vegan, part 1 of 2.
Warning: sensitive images.
Glen Merzer is a playwright, screenwriter, and author. His first book, published in 1998, was Mad Cowboy, co-written with vegan animal people rights activist Howard Lyman. He has since released a number of others, including the bestseller The Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss, co-written with vegan chef AJ. His new book, Food is Climate, a response to Al Gore, Bill Gates, Paul Hawken, and the conventional narrative on climate change, addresses the climate emergency threatening civilization, as well as the key to solving this urgent problem. Today we are honored to have Glen Merzer with us to speak about his new book and the foremost cause of the environmental destruction on our planet.
We're told often by the media and by politicians that the leading cause is the burning of fossil fuels for energy and transportation. That's one factor, but the leading cause is animal agriculture. Animal agriculture causes about 87% of the global warming, the greenhouse gases. There are multiple ways in which it brings greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. First of all, the farmed animals, the cattle, the sheep, the goats, belch methane into the atmosphere. And methane is up to 120 times as powerful a greenhouse gas as carbon dioxide. The animal waste gives off methane and nitrous oxide. Nitrous oxide is 300 times as powerful a greenhouse gas as carbon dioxide. And then you have to look at the pasture maintenance fires. The pasture maintenance fires are set to keep the grazing land full of grass for the cattle to graze and not allow any trees or other vegetation to get in the way. But the pasture maintenance fires bring carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and they degrade the soil. Soil can store twice as much carbon as trees. So when we degrade the soil, we're hurting ourselves. And then there's what we call the carbon opportunity cost. The carbon opportunity cost is the foregone sequestration. It's all the sequestration of carbon dioxide that we would have if only we had forest instead of grassland or instead of desert. And when we graze animals, we are wasting more than 1/3 of the non-ice land surface of the planet, and we're turning that land slowly into desert. So the solution to the climate crisis is to leave the earth alone, and I'll explain to you how we can do that.
Glen Merzer explains why our dietary choices are so important for the climate, planet, and sustaining life.
Food is what determines our land use. And again, more than 1/3 of the land surface of the earth is being used to graze animals. And we also, of course, are destroying the oceans. The industrial fishing operations are extracting all life from the seas. And so the solution to the crisis is to leave the earth alone as much as possible. You know, when you have a wound on your body, the body will heal, but not if you keep scraping the wound. You have to leave the wound alone. And it's the same with the earth. We have a climate emergency now, and the solution is to leave as much of the earth alone as we can. But how can we do that? We have to live in our cities and in our suburbs. We have to have our buildings and our bridges and our roads. So how do we leave the earth alone? And this is the answer to it. If we only ate plants instead of animals, then we could leave the grazing land alone. And the grazing land is actually 37% of the non-ice land surface of the earth. So we could leave the grazing land alone. And if we didn't eat fish, then we could leave the oceans alone. Sure, there would still be some ships on the ocean that are used for transportation of goods. But the real damage to the oceans is being done by the industrial fishing operations. So if we didn't eat fish, we could leave the oceans alone. That's 70% of the Earth's surface. And if we didn't eat meat, we could leave the grazing land alone. That's 80% of the Earth that we could leave alone with our food choices. If we just eat plant foods, which are the healthiest foods for the human body, we could leave 80% of the Earth alone and the climate will heal.
This is what Halakha said. If the human beings scare the animal, something chemically makes a change in the body of the animal, and it's not kosher, and it's not good to eat that. The Reverend Rabbi Asa Kaysar, vegan.
Let's take a moment to pray that all people swiftly adopt the planet-protecting vegan lifestyle. We'll be right back here on Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to Food is Climate, interview with Glen Merzer, vegan, part 1 of 2. In August 2021, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, published a new report about the planetary situation. Glen Merzer comments on the report and realistic solutions to reverse a climate catastrophe.
Well, the IPCC report is a good measure of the trouble that we're in. But the IPCC never seems to give us the right solutions. The solution is staring us in the face. We have to reforest as much of the world as we can, and we have to leave the oceans alone. Now, the Earth used to have 6 trillion trees, and it now has about 3 trillion trees. The Earth didn't get any smaller, so how come we only have half the trees we used to have? A small part of it has to do with our cities. We chop down trees in order to build buildings, and we use some of the land of the world for our urban centers. But mostly, the leading cause of deforestation has been animal agriculture. As we speak now, the Amazon is being chopped down in order to graze cattle. The leading cause of deforestation is animal agriculture. We need to reverse that process. We need to grow trees where the cattle and the other animals now graze. The forest will come back if we just allow it to come back. We don't have to plant every tree. Most trees will plant themselves. We have to allow the forest to come back. And once the forests come back on the grazing land, they will sequester more carbon dioxide than we're currently emitting. And the soil will get healthier and the soil stores twice as much carbon as the trees. We need healthy soil, we need healthy forests, and we need to stop wasting so much of the Earth's land surface on grazing just in order to raise animals, which when we eat them, they give us heart attacks. It's foolish.
All information concerning the scientific evidence of climate change and its solution is in Supreme Master Ching Hai's book, From Crisis to Peace, free for download at crisistopeace.org.
As Glen Merzer highlights in Food is Climate, it is paramount for us as individuals to adopt plant-based diets in order to reverse global warming.
Well, we can't wait for the politicians or the policymakers. They're all afraid to tell the truth. The truth is that we'll never be able to reverse climate change if we continue eating meat. So the solution is up to us. We all have to stop eating meat and eating dairy and eating eggs, eating animal foods, using animal products. We have to stop torturing animals. We have to allow forests to come back, allow vegetation to come back. And we should not have, as we currently do, 25 billion farmed animals in the world, all of them exhaling carbon dioxide. We shouldn't have any farmed animals. We should just have wild animals.
Right.
And if we allow the forest to come back and we stop breeding animals to eat them, then that's the solution. And the politicians will never say it because they're scared they won't get reelected. So
Right.
we, the people, have to lead. We have to just stop the demand for meat. If we don't eat meat, there'll be no demand, and animal agriculture will fold. That's the only solution.
Our heartfelt thanks, Glen Merzer, for your important message. We pray that humanity quickly adopts the eco-friendly vegan lifestyle for the planet, for the animal people, and for humanity. For more information on Food is Climate, please visit glenmerzer.com.
Vegan side effect. The ghosts that used to be around you, they left.
Noble viewers, it's been a pleasure to have your company today. Join us again on Friday, February 4th for part 2 of Food is Climate, interview with Glen Merzer, vegan. Coming up next is Loving Furry Heroes, here on Supreme Master Television. May the compassion within you be extended to all sentient beings.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/UL.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/UL.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/UL.
Nasze programy oferują wiele języków. Prosimy zobaczyć suprememastertv.com/schedule oraz suprememastertv.com/UL.